Be good now. It should have us live. It's just doing its little autofocus prank.
And click on your screen and
Click on my screen.
click on something on your screen to focus in on, like the can or your cup or something.
If I hit your face.
Well, my face is always moving, so I need to find something stationary.
Yeah. It seems to adjust as we go, but it says we're live.
Yep.
It should be public. Should have done something right.
It's going.
It's going, eh? Look at how amazing that rubber chicken looks up there. We need more of those. Little old man, like I should have my walker going. How's the audio? Is it working? Ow. Whoa.
Massive screen.
Yeah, it's way wider than normal, eh? Way wider than normal. It's pretty cool. Hi. We're live. It's February. It's quite snowy and wintry out, despite the fact that it wasn't a few days ago. Yeah, kind of tricky. We've had some ice storms and snowstorms all kind of hitting us in the last, say, what, 3 days? Something like that. So for anybody who is getting out on the bank in this weather, good for you. I, however, have been kind of crippled up. My back went out on me, so the last 2 weeks I've been pretty much a useless vegetable. But slowly healing. I did try to get out a little bit last week, made it a few hours. Goldie and I were lucky enough to actually shoot a pretty cool segment. And in all fairness, we thought it was going to go amazingly. And it didn't. But we have an opportunity to do another session to finish that video. And if it works, actually I think we'll be quite proud of it. It'll look amazing. But for right now, it's kind of in limbo, like halfway there. You need that whole important element of, catching or anything you have to say to actually like mean anything and have value. So, yeah, we really need to catch at that spot. So it's a beautiful spot when it's covered in snow. Don't you agree?
Yep.
Way to chime in with so much useful information. Who's in the chat?
Will.
Oh,
Tristan and
Tristan.
Ray. Tristan's her MTC.
Yes, Tristan is over in Washington State, I believe. It's over on the West Coast, so it's still like early there. Is that Ray?
Yep.
Ray from over in the land of nethers. So it's like show season here in Canada and over in the UK and Europe and everywhere. So actually I know Ray has been to a couple shows, or at least one for sure. He was there helping out the Ridge Monkey table. Here we have our like fishing and boat shows, or the outdoor shows where they include like hunting and camping and stuff like that. Our shows aren't really connected specifically to carp fishing or any one type of fishing. It just kind of covers what's popular here. Usually it's bass, muskie, and then trolling for trout and salmon here on the Great Lakes. Not really a lot in our shows here for the shore angler. We have ice fishing shows. There was actually one a few weeks back in Barrie. I believe there is a Barrie spring fishing and boat show happening this weekend.
Yes, it is.
Fishing Frenzy is there. It's a great organization that helps kids get involved and interested in fishing. Our good buddy Clint is there helping out with that. But yeah, the circuit's kind of making its way around. So it's going to hit Barrie, it's going to hit London. Now, next weekend, February the 15th, that's Saturday, I believe. So next weekend is I guess it's the Toronto Spring Fishing and Boat Show. It's happening in Mississauga up near the airport. Our buddy Will, who does the Creek Chronicles and so many other elements in
Stop tapping the table.
In the Angler Files, Will's going to be actually doing a talk on one of the stages at the Spring Fishing and Boat Show. next week. I think it's at 4 p.m. on the Saturday, where he's actually going to be talking about carp fishing opportunities in Ontario. That's kind of a big deal. I guess it's the Outdoor Canada stage. Will I'm sure will correct me and fill the details in. But in a show and a show circuit that, like I said, is dominated by bass fishing, muskie, trolling for salmon and trout, things like that. You don't really see enough of those other types of fishing. Not even panfish. You really don't get talks like that on those stages. And here's an opportunity where we're actually going to have someone, I don't want to say knows a whole lot about carp fishing, because he tries. We'll just say he tries. But he is somebody who's a very important advocate for the sport and a great ambassador to help get new people interested, because he loves to talk so much. And it's hard to get in and interrupt for a question because he doesn't stop talking. And I think that's a great detail to just kind of force feed his audience information about carp fishing, because you're just going to take it in because it's either walk away or just sit there and listen. So really, everybody has the opportunity to win there. And when it comes down to it, getting somebody to be able to talk about carp on one of these stages at one of these big shows, I think is huge. I think this is a major step in the right direction. I hope it continues. It's just a matter of getting those guys that are there for, and gals, that are there for the bass fishing seminars, the muskie seminars, the trolling seminars, get their interest, show them that carp is a worthwhile sport fish here, and you don't need to have a $60,000 boat and go out trolling and burn 5 tanks of gas a week to try and enjoy your hobby. You can literally just get a little bit of gear, go sit on the bank and relax, and have your peace and solitude interrupted with mayhem when that buzzer sounds off. So yeah, huge step there. Anybody here in Ontario who's going to be going to that spring fishing and boat show, please go and check out Will's seminar at 4 p.m. on the Saturday. A lot going on there, Goldie?
Yep. You'd stop talking and let people actually interrupt you and just not keep talking.
I was trying to get a point through because I promised him I would.
You had the wrong show anyway.
It's the spring fishing and boat show.
Outdoor Canada.
That's what I said, the Outdoor Canada stage.
Okay, I wasn't even paying attention.
I was right.
You're not on a diet. No, I'm not on a diet.
No, he's not on a diet. He's just naturally dropping weight, and it's kind of creepy because I am not.
Okay, actually Andrew Fishing wants to know if there's any updates on the second line.
To my knowledge, there's been no official updates. Now, on the Outdoor Journal radio broadcast, I believe at the end of December, there was some discussion about that early in the podcast, about how they pretty much had it down to just needing pretty much one signature left, I believe. And because of the way the elections went, kind of put all that stuff on the back burner. So from what I heard out of that, for anybody who didn't listen, I guess the idea is to just let them get through that this year, and we'll see what happens. It's got to go across somebody else's desk at some point soon. What else we got?
Don wants to know if we got the close-up of that eagle that was flying by with the drone.
We did not. Actually, we were getting reports coming in of eagles quite a bit in the area, and now like the last 2 weeks, nothing. So I don't know if maybe this weather front that's come in has pushed them somewhere else for the time being. They might have gone over to the American side of the lake. But I have not seen any myself, and I've not had any reports for at least 2 weeks. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Now you have to find something else to talk about.
There's no way we're that caught up. Who else is here?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Kappa, Dom.
All the greats.
Who else? This Monster Carp Tackle guy.
Monster Carp Tackle guy, cool.
Doug Nymer. Dave Newman.
Dave Newman. I'm not convinced he got that giant perch from Valens Lake last weekend. Because when we went to Valens Lake, the perch we were catching were tiny. And that perch that he got, that was in the picture, was as big as the pike you got from that lake. So, I'm not convinced. I think it's photoshopped. I think he photoshopped the hut around him, and he actually had that perch from a grocery store. It's just my theory.
Really?
Going with it.
Okay.
Little update on the pop-up contest. I have started them. They're not done, but they're started. So get a little bit of drawing time in. Like I said, with my back out, I've been kind of a vegetable on the couch and not really doing much. Sitting here is actually causing me some trouble. But I'm going to get those done and get those sent out. I've not forgotten. Like I said, they are started. I've got the components mixed together, so I just need to do the rest of it. Get them cooked, get them dried, and then we'll get those sent out to Cody and Dan.
Dave says there are some big ones in there. Despite what you might think.
So he caught the only big one?
He caught the only big one.
Now, here's the next question. From what I've been told, specifically near where we were fishing over a rock. We found a rock with the underwater camera where we were. But supposedly there's a stump in the general vicinity of where we were fishing, and that's the hot spot to get. Dave, were you fishing over the stump? That would be the question, because if he was anywhere near that stump, then we understand that everything is true. If he was nowhere near the stump and he got a big fish, then everybody else that we talked to there was a liar.
So you were asked to play a song on the chicken last week?
Oh, with the last live stream. I think I was.
You were, because Dom just brought it up again.
I forgot about that.
You didn't.
But I'm pretty sure I said no.
You did say no.
Did I recommend a song from another band that actually does a tune played on a chicken? I believe I did. Because it's a good one. Yeah, Go Bananas by Little Big. They do a song with a rubber chicken. So, yeah, go listen to that. You don't even listen to me play that thing.
He was close to the dam, found a rise from 10 to 8 feet.
Close to the dam. So, yes, in the general vicinity of where this stump is. Interesting. I don't know if I ever want to go back to that lake. It was kind of odd. It was very small. There's a lot of people out there. Funny enough, when it was a couple of years ago now, but when we went to ice fish this lake, it was a bunch of carpers that were out there on the ice fishing for perch. A little bit odd to drive to a place we've never been before, 2 hours from home, and as soon as we're sitting there waiting at the gate, all our carping friends are parked in the truck behind us. It was odd, but fun. Good day. Just we sucked at fishing that day.
Mm.
What's Monster Carp Tackle saying there?
He wants to know what we have for our seasonal goals,
Seasonal goals?
or this upcoming season goal.
Well, yeah, we discussed this in the January live stream, talking about kind of how the year is going. I think I touched on it a little bit in the subsequent live stream that was after that, where we did the tackle sort out. Kind of the main focus I have is to kind of strip out the gear, be more mobile, not carry so much, not really be so dead set that I have to stay in one place. I want to explore a little bit more, because it's likely that I'm going to have a lot more short sessions this year, just like last year. But the problem with last year is that I went into all these short sessions prepared for more time, and it just bogged me down, and I don't think I fished effectively. So I definitely want to be a little bit more mobile and have a better approach to how I take out my gear, only take what I need, or take specifically targeted gear. So rather than just take out everything, take out specific items and convince myself that I am going to catch on those items, kind of making that a challenge or a mission in a way. And aside from that, I really, really want to do some fly fishing for carp this year. I miss fly fishing. I used to do it a lot. All my fly fishing rods and gear are over there just collecting dust. My tying kit is up on a shelf, and I could be tying flies. I miss doing that. And carp fight really hard on the fly rod. So once I find a couple spots, I have a few in mind, I'm going to get back to that. Those are my real goals for the season. What about you, Goldie? What are your goals for fishing
Well,
this
before
season?
we do that, Tristan is actually from Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
High
But it's still
country-
West Coast.
High country fly fishing says hey.
Hey. Are you buffering?
Apparently. Tristan wants to know if we know any good spots in Washington and Vancouver area.
Washington, Vancouver. Well, that would be your area because that's where you're from. So you would know that there's rivers that have names over there.
I know a river, and that's the Fraser River, and you wouldn't fish in there even if you got
Well,
paid to.
well, there's
'cause it's-
sturgeon in there, in the Fraser.
Okay. See? You know more than I do. I never fished out there
You fished for trout.
when I was 3.
Yes, you can't remember that far back?
No, I barely remember what I did yesterday.
Well, maybe it's just your short-term memory that's screwed up. 60 years ago, you can remember what it was like to be 3.
Oh, wow. Not that old.
Did I push a little bit too far there? Honestly, I've never been out west. I have a lot of family in the interior of British Columbia, and I think a few cousins out on like Vancouver Island or in Vancouver. But beyond that, I've never been out there. I've never fished it. I don't know any of the waterways. I think if you go on Instagram and follow Da Sniper, Olivier, he I think is in either Oregon or Washington State. That guy knows the water. He catches lots of carp. He catches lots of sturgeon. He's a really skilled angler. He's on Instagram, and I think he's done a few YouTube videos as well. He would be somebody that I would recommend shooting a message to, but you probably already know him. If not, that would be the one person I would say knows better than anybody else over there. But yeah, I've never been out to the West Coast. I honestly can't say why either. There's lots of fishing opportunities, but I'm sure I'll make it at some point. High Country Fly Life. Question for you. As usual, your latest video was enjoyable. What I didn't realize though is that you are so far ahead in time. Like it's already like what, the middle of Sunday. So like you're like living in the future. It's kind of like time travel for you to be talking to us here on Saturday. It just kind of made me think, like with that big time difference between us, you in New Zealand, us here in Canada. There's a lot of different time zones that are popping in. Like everybody in Europe is like 5-6 hours ahead.
We have an Ireland, a Netherlands. I haven't seen any.
We got New Zealand. We've got Tristan over on the West Coast, so he's 3 hours behind us.
Yep.
It's kind of neat how all of this kind of comes together at these different time zones, and it makes me wonder how how many people are we interrupting their day when we do this sort of thing? When we do a live stream, they have to kind of stop what they're doing at like maybe breakfast time, or could be dinner time, or like High Country Fly Fishing, he could be eating his Sunday lunch, while he's watching this. It's just kind of neat how all that works. Breakfast.
6:17 a.m.
6:17 a.m. Wow. Should be fishing right now. What's going on with the internet connection?
Well, there are like 6 people upstairs using it.
There's 2, and they're sleeping. Well, one's
up.
One's awake.
Yeah. Dom's in the bath.
Dom's in the bath.
That's not a sight I want to picture in my head.
Here's the thing, though. You've sent him a video of you in your underpants fishing.
Oh, no.
Maybe he'll return the favor while he's in the bath. Just take a fishing pole in there with him. You never know.
Ooh. Kappa, what are you watching on Netflix?
Who's Kappa's watching Netflix?
Yeah. Well, no, he's watching us.
Oh, okay. But he wants to know what we're watching on
No,
Netflix.
I'm asking what he's watching because he paused Netflix just to watch you and I.
Oh, wow. Maybe we should be subscription based.
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing, isn't that? I never got through that one. I think I started watching it and gave up.
Wow, there's a lot of people working on that.
Everybody's working?
Apparently.
Well, that's good.
High Country Fly Fishing, he's working.
Who else is?
Tristan was
Tristan is
working.
working. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so here's the next question. What do you do? Like I'm a heavy equipment operator, so I work on excavators and stuff like that, among other things, but that's primarily what I'm doing. So what does High Country Fly Life do? Is he, a, I don't know, store owner or something like that? Or maybe Tristan runs a hardware store? Who knows?
Well, right now he's not doing anything. He's just watching us.
Oh, so he's totally getting paid to
To
watch
watch
us.
us.
I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Now, Dave Pendlebury does the same thing.
Yeah, he's doing that as well. He's actually a maintenance technician. Tristan is.
Maintenance technician.
Yeah. Don wants to know how many people are going to get fired now that they've been ratted out.
Nobody, because these are all code names.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing is that none of their employers watch us. What do we got?
Oh, that's cool.
What's that?
High Country Fly Fishing is a machine operator at a milk powder plant.
Milk powder plant. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And Will's just about done his job.
Which job? Opening Spotify on his phone and pretending he's a DJ? Yeah, I saw that video in the UCC group chat. Thanks, bud. I wanted to rip you apart in that one, but I thought it would be rude. I'll do it here, live.
I was going to say, you're doing it live. That's perfect. Okay, well, now you have to think of something else.
I have to think of something else. So, it's kind of that transition time. We're almost at spring, but we're not quite out of the woods of winter yet. Some spots are kind of turning on when you get these breaks in the weather. Others are shutting down even more. From what I'm hearing, the lower river trout fishing has been getting even better. Some people are starting to spot carp moving around because of these warm snaps that we're getting. Us last weekend, we went into a very tiny little creek in a hidden little area in town, and man, there had to be about 30 carp that we saw swimming around in there. I think the biggest one was maybe yay long. Tiny, tiny fish, but so difficult to catch them. Tried refining tactics, it wasn't working. So I'm just curious, how many other people out there, different parts of the world, you guys all have different weather scenarios for this. What kind of tough situations are you guys dealing with right now in terms of trying to get fish, here in February?
High Country is actually going into autumn.
He's going into autumn, yeah, because they're upside down.
Yes. Yes, they're on the other side of the globe.
Yeah, and their toilet swirls the other direction and currents flow up instead of down. Yeah, okay, it makes sense. So he's kind of getting into a peak kind of end of the season time, I would think. I see Ray has commented. I'm assuming that he doesn't have any downtime because the guy's always catching. So he must have like perfect weather all the time because he's always got a fish. Am I right on that one?
He pretends to be a carpenter, apparently.
Pretends to be a carpenter. That's one of those Dutch people we know that are carpenters. They must all be really good at it. It must be like bred right into it. Kind of like Japanese people as scientists, right? Is Dom flirting with you? I see a lot of message there.
No, he's okay. Since carp is trash fish, if you had to, what fish would you focus time to catch if trash fish carp wasn't an option? Needs a little bit more comments in there.
So if carp wasn't an option, what fish would I target?
Yes.
Probably trout, because in this area, the only time trout even get tricky is like July, August, right? So I can pursue them 10 months out of the year, even through some of the harshest weather. I can go pursue trout. July and August, I can go up north on little trips and maybe fish for speckles. So I still got options for trout everywhere if I had to say no to carp. But I won't, because they're not trash. Kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Nice filler. I'm just hoping people will just feed me questions, because I kind of the muscle relaxers and all that stuff's got me a little bit messed up today. Maybe we should have done that. Count all the medications that on to try and feel better.
We can count how many I'm on too.
You're on less than me now. No?
You wish.
Oh, so you're back to being a walking pharmacy. Good to know. That's going to help you during fishing. You're trying to creep up on walking through some brush and some grasses, and you're trying to sneak up because you can see a carp right there feeding off the surface in some of the muck near a snag. Just easing your way through the brush, making no sound. Make one step. You don't break a stick. Pill bottle falls out of your rattles and scares the fish off. That'll be interesting.
See, now right now, high country life is high country fly fishing.
High country fly life.
Whatever.
He's actually having really good fishing right now because autumn is like here in
Yeah,
autumn.
just
all
prime.
All the fish are coming in.
So, high country fly life. When's the next video dropping? Because you had one. What was it? It was a Wednesday for us, I think. Tuesday or Wednesday for us. The last one that you dropped.
Dom is just lopping grenades all over the place.
I thought he was in the bath. He shouldn't be lopping any grenades in the bath.
So-
Especially since when you watch his videos, one of the things he says at the end is don't lop grenades in the bath.
Because he's going now is, so stinky trout, you say. What's your biggest stinky trout
My biggest stinky trout.
you've ever actually landed?
Landed? Okay. What particular type of trout? Because I've had some giants.
You gotta be so particular. Just say your biggest trout. We had this problem when we were doing the question thing that's coming up soon.
I had a 21-pound steelhead
There you go.
years ago. It would have been 1999 or 2000 down in the whirlpool. A 21-pound steelhead. That fish came a month after my previous PB, which was an 18-pound, I think 6-ounce steelhead. I actually still have a picture somewhere. I think I moved the photo album. It was right here. But yeah, I had an 18-pound steelhead. Just like a month before that, I went down on a day that the weather was like shining bright. I think it was like the first week of April, and it was not the conditions you'd think we would catch in very well down there. It was packed. I think it was a Saturday. There was people everywhere, and I just kind of weaseled my way in between two guys who subsequently got really mad at me for walking in, taking 2 casts and hooking a fish. I had ended up getting everybody upset because I had to walk my fish down the bank because it went out really far, got into the current and started going, and I was almost out of line. I ended up kind of hopping and jumping over and around and under other lines to get past all these other guys. Got way over to our side of the whirlpool right before the point where the main current break is, and this fish finally came back up at me. And yeah, it was like once I got it out of that current right in close, the fight, it pretty much gave up. It was tired right out. And like I've got a fair sized hand, and I could just barely get my hand around the knuckle of that tail. It was massive. Problem was I had upset so many people, kind of disturbing their day. I couldn't get anybody to actually take a picture for me. So I was able to weigh it, let it go. I know about that fish. All those people that were there know about that fish. But the biggest one I have a picture of is my 18-pounder. But yeah, 21-pound rainbow.
Do we don't know anything about the Canada Carp Cup yet?
Last I heard, there was supposed to be some meetings in January to try and finalize some details. I've not heard anything since. I know Len is incredibly busy working with it. He's getting very frustrated that a lot of people are throwing questions at him. You know, it's probably 50 times a day he's getting a message of, you know, when's it happening, when's it being announced, blah, 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 blah. guys, it'll be announced once we know. If I hear about it, I will tell everybody in a post or something. But it's obviously going to happen. We just don't know the details yet. So just be prepared anyways. We're going to get the information soon. We're in February. They will get the information to us at some point. I'm taking the steps to get everything else ready beforehand, so that once it's announced, all I have to do is refine maybe my baiting strategy. That'll be it. But yeah, I haven't got any new information yet.
Okay, Tristan, do you reduce the amount of free bait in the colder months, or scale down the size, or just go to particle?
Definitely go with smaller baits. We reduce the size for sure, but we don't really around here reduce the amount of bait, because quite often the few spots that we do actually find fish around here in the wintertime, they might have smaller feeding windows, but they still feed very heavily. And we find, like, man, we went through quite a bit of bait last weekend to get fish moving around in one of our winter spots that had been showing no signs prior. We pre-baited it the day before, went and fished it in the afternoon, and fish were rising. We were getting liners. We had a couple of pickups and drops, so we had activity right away. And I think flat out it's because of the wider spread of bait. So yeah, we do downsize, go with more particles, but we still put out a pretty fair spread. So there's, technically speaking, there's like less little bits out there, less to fill them up, but more to get them moving around.
Fly Life will be putting up another video sometime in a week or so.
Nice.
It's a trout high country lake.
A trout high country lake. Hence the name of the channel.
Okay.
Live feed from the show?
Yeah, of Will.
Yeah, I can't go. I know Goldie really wanted to film it. I would have loved to either do a live feed while we're walking around there, or just film our adventure while we were there and come back. That wasn't the original idea. Unfortunately, my wife has her hobbies, so she will have the vehicle. If I could spontaneously get another vehicle, then maybe we might be able to turn up there and do something, but I'll have my little guy with me, and right now we're just not working out transportation well. If we can be there, we will be there. We will film something. It's kind of up in the air. I probably won't know until Friday what I can do, but we will try. We'll work on something. Anybody else coming up with kind of difficult spots for them this time of year? They got those go-to spots that they go to, like we do for winter? No? They're all trying to keep secret. Like, we're just going to spontaneously show up in Europe and be like fishing this spot that Ray has. It's a complete secret. Wouldn't that be funny, though? He just goes down to his like go-to spot for February, and there's a couple of Canadians sitting there eating donuts and drinking Tim Hortons in his spot.
We're caught up again.
You're caught up again?
Yeah.
They just talk to you, don't they? Because I see all these messages,
Well, actually, they're talking to each other.
and I'm convinced that there's stuff for me to play off of.
Yeah.
And you always say, "Oh no, we're caught up."
Okay, fine. So you love wafty fishing. How do you feel about people lure fishing for trout? Controversial in the UK.
Lure fishing for trout is
Hold
controversial.
on. Fly Fishing Life says, well, it depends on the habitat. They do different in terms of their intelligence, for one.
Really?
That's what you want.
So lure fishing for trout is controversial in New Zealand or in
UK.
England? Really?
You're listening to me?
I'm trying to, but you're difficult. Wow.
Apparently, Dom's best fishing spot is by the tree.
By the tree? Makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So what is the way? Like, it's got to be fly fishing or what? Like trotting under a float or something? You can't use. They don't like you using lures like body baits or small spinners and stuff like that for trout. Really? That's frowned upon. Those are so effective. Like any day, like I love float fishing and I love fly fishing, but if I'm going to be chasing trout, man, throwing hardware or soft plastics is like my favorite go-to way to go. Like that's what I love doing, and it gets big fish. I say that, but after having told you about my 21-pound rainbow, I was actually bottom bouncing a single rubber egg. So, completely different tactic.
So, Doug Neimer's best fishing spot? The water.
The water.
That's my kind of answer.
That is your kind of answer. That's the kind of answer I get from you weekly. Hey, where do you want to go? We need to try and shoot something. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go fishing. Okay, where do you want to go? In the water. The production team here is just so. Yeah.
Cap is my kind of angler. Sitting on his sofa watching videos. Though I prefer fishing on the Xbox.
Yeah, that carp fishing game.
Oh, they have another one that they just added.
Well, I've got for my old systems. I have a lot of bass fishing games because that was what was popular for those systems. You have that carp fishing game on your Xbox that is absolutely incredible. I think I pretty much wasted an entire afternoon playing that, and it was unreal. I couldn't believe how similar it was to where I could fine tune my rigs and cast in very specific spots, playing fish around an island and stuff like that. That was pretty amazing. But yeah, because I've been kind of laid up for the last 2 weeks, I've been doing the same thing, just laying down watching videos. It's kind of because my wife does theater and will be away a fair bit, doing her shows and her hobbies. If I'm not out fishing, the kid will be up playing games or doing his own thing. I just sit down and watch YouTube if I'm not getting my gear together, and I just take in all the information I can. I try to watch everything. But not just carp fishing. I watch trout fishing. I will watch certain aspects of bass fishing or pike. I try to take little elements from everything that I'm watching and see how I can apply that to what I do in my own fishing. It's just it's a great way to stay well-rounded with your ideas. You don't want to just get stuck in a rut of being, I'm going to stay a purist in this way. If that's the kind of thing that you like, go for it. But there's so many other elements, like being able to use lures for trout. You go down to the whirlpool right now, I bet you everybody and their brother is bottom bouncing or float fishing. You go in there and start casting a spinner around, you might outfish them 3-1. It's just offering that something different that makes all the difference in the world.
Improved carp angling.
Improved carp angling is Nathan.
Okay, he just joined us.
Awesome. So if you haven't checked it out already, check out Nathan's website, Improved Carp Angling. Check out his YouTube channel, Improved Carp Angling. Especially if you know people who are beginners. He's doing a lot of really good stuff right now, showing kind of new tech, new equipment. Just did a bite alarm kind of review video of the ones he has and how they work. Really, really good information on there. So even though, a lot of the guys that are in here might be seasoned anglers, you all know newbies, and if you don't want to sit there having to explain to a newbie why this button does this, which can get frustrating at times, check out his YouTube videos and his website. Lots of useful information there. What else you got? What did Dom just say there? Probably vulgar, isn't it?
What? He's just talking about a game.
Oh, okay. I see.
Well, actually, Andrew, fishing favorite carp outing.
My favorite carp outing?
Outing
Like ever?
ever.
Wow. You put me on the spot, man. 2017, Shimano Canada Carp Cup. I was there with friends. It was the first big competition. We were trying new equipment in a new place for the first time. First long session, it was, 70-something hours. It was amazing. and we had a great time. We learned a lot, and Demir and I ended up finishing third. Goldie put together an amazing video, to kind of cover that whole session for not just us, but for everybody that was there. That's by far probably my most memorable carp session, because the best part is I'll never forget it. It's ingrained in my brain, and if I ever want to relive some of that, I just go on the video on YouTube and check it out. That one makes me happy.
Most carp you've had in one session?
Most carp I've had in one session. Well, that's a two-part answer. And you'll understand why, because you were there for one.
Uh-huh.
So I think the most carp I've had in one session was the same day we had the most bites in one session. And you remember the session now, don't you?
Well, I know which one it was as soon as I saw the question.
If I remember right, actually, hang on a second. I have some information. Should be in this book right here. If I can find the right page.
Well, that's where my pen went.
No, this is mine.
Yeah, I know.
You gave me 2 of them like 10 years ago. And I know where the other one is. It's in this house. Okay, let's see here. We had a lot of different kind of competitions where it was you against me.
Uh-huh.
I think this was it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Hey. I have Dave Mercer from Facts of Fishing. I have his email address in this book.
Okay.
I remember meeting him. I don't remember getting his email address. I'll tell you right now, I never sent him an email. Okay. So I think this is the same for you as in terms of numbers. Actually, it is a video we did of just carp runs. We went and set out to just film carp runs, and that was it. We didn't know how it was going to go, but it was. We knew we needed to film something. We just wanted to have a fun, relaxing day. It didn't turn out to be relaxing. So, in the end, between the two of us, there was 77 runs in 7 hours of fishing, which was the most bites we'd had. But in terms of actual catches, Goldie finished the day, and this is landed. We fought a lot more fish, but we had a lot of come off. The most fish we had landed, Goldie had 15, and I landed 19. And if I remember right, one of the fish that day I had was a mirror.
Yep.
So yeah, that was our best day for landed fish, 19 and 15 respectively, and a total of 77
That's actually the
runs.
cover photo for it.
Yeah, the mirror. Yeah, Carp Run Chaos. So if you go back on our channel to
2 years ago, apparently.
2 or 3 years ago, I think it was 2017. Yeah, the video is called Carp Run Chaos. It's, how long is it? 17 minutes long almost. Literally insanity. Just run after run after run, and a couple of really good fish thrown in the mix. Now, if we would have landed everything we hooked, we probably would have had like over 30 fish a piece. Like, it was insane. That was probably the best day I can think of. I've had days where we've caught a lot of carp, but 19 in 7 hours landed for me, 15 for you. That was probably the best one. I'm out of coffee now. What do we got? Anything else?
No, we're just talking about
Oh, you're just chatting?
numbers.
I see.
Doug Nemers was 12 in one morning session.
12 in a morning session. That's pretty damn good.
And we're talking about different channels.
So yeah, I had mentioned like carp shows and fishing kind of trade shows earlier. We actually just went to one last week, and it was nice. It was the St. Catharines Game and Fish Association 90th anniversary this year, and they put on the first ever Niagara tackle swap, which was fun. It was small. It was a good little. Unfortunately for us, it's geared more towards trolling the Great Lakes for salmon and trout, muskie angling, bass angling, things like that. That's what's popular here. So there wasn't a lot there for us, but I did need a new spinning reel, so I got myself a nice little Shimano Sedona, a more up-to-date version than the retired one that I have back on the shelf. We've got a few lures. I think I got some soft plastics. Yeah, some like paddle tail grubs for walleye that I'm going to use for trout. And I've been wanting to try these. These are some Venom lures. These are the Muskie Series XXX tube. I don't know why it's XXX. And a big pink tube that's kind of naughty. But Venom Lures is a brand I keep hearing a lot more about that catches a lot of fish. So I wanted to try them out. Found some for in a bargain bin for like $2. Yeah, just grabbed a little bit of tackle, grabbed a used reel that I needed for one of my rods. You know, got to talk to a lot of really nice people, some nice vendors. I actually talked to a muskie guy about his custom lures. Talked a little bit about muskie fishing, a little bit about carp fishing. So it was fun. I'm really looking forward to that show growing and see how it goes. To expand more varieties of fishing for the community, but also, you know, in popularity. Like, it was a packed house from start to finish. There was a little seminar by a local guide, kind of covering where to fish in Niagara if you're in this area. Downside to that is that he gave away a lot of the best kept secrets for some of those small shore fishing spots around here. But overall, you know, he really did cover the bases as far as what fishing opportunities are here at different times of year. But yeah, it just seemed like it was more of a beginner level kind of. If you've been in Niagara like 2 weeks, these are all the places you can go. Anybody who's been here for like a year or more and fished even a little bit is going to know where those spots are. You just drive around and you find them. But yeah, overall the show was quite nice. I did enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next year and in coming years. Well, you guys just... I don't even need to be here. You guys should just do a live stream where you just chat with each other. Maybe we should just start a Facebook group where everybody just sits there and chats all day.
Isn't that called a message board?
I don't know. You're the tech guy. I just sit here and talk to a camera.
How ready are you for the Canada Carp Cup?
How ready am I? Who's asking the question?
Improved carp angling.
Of course he is, because I'm competition for him, and he knows it. I would say at this stage, I am 85% ready for the Canada Carp Cup. I have almost all the equipment I need. I need very few items at this point. Just a little bit of terminal tackle that I want to get, and I have the rods, I have my nets, I have everything else. I want to look at getting a new mat, and then it's just my baiting strategy. So I am almost set. The biggest hurdle I have right now to get over is that I need to clean this gear up, because it's everywhere. You know, I keep pulling apart things for little sessions here and there. We were walking through the bush to this small creek that we were at last weekend, and you know, I pulled apart a bunch of packs. Like, I loaded up my Urban Carp Collective backpack. It's just little, you know, so you can't fit much in it, right? But basically, one kit, a couple of warm clothes, a bag of pellets, some scissors and forceps, and there's some tape in here. And like, that was everything I had for this little creek session. My floats and stuff are all right in this little bag. All of this stuff goes in other cases. So I keep pulling things apart to do these other little sessions. So I got little bits everywhere, and I gotta I think I need to just clear out a floor, put everything out on the floor, and then kind of put things back together bit by bit of where they need to be, and then keep them there. And for any of you who did see the last live stream, there is a silica gel packet in that backpack. It got full of moisture, and it took care of it right away. So remember that tip.
334 Outdoors has joined us from Alabama.
334 Outdoors. That's the guy asking for an in-depth guide to baiting and river fishing for carp, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that's who that is. Also, who said that pretty much if it's not redfish or like the other popular species down there, it's the Wild West in terms of following rules down there. So, actually, it brings up a good question. A lot of us fish rivers, and really when it comes down to it, we were asked, can we do an in-depth guide to how to, different baiting strategies for a river fishing scenario and how to fish it properly. There's two answers to that. There's the incredibly easy answer, which is pretty much what we do. Then there's a slightly more complex answer where you really look at a lot of details. So
That's not what we do. Much like our videos, it's very spontaneous.
Yeah. Most of our fishing has to be spontaneous schedule-wise, but I'm intrigued by the idea of going a little bit more in depth. So once we get into the summer, we're past the Canada Carp Cup thing. Fishing conditions are a little bit better and more consistent. I'm actually going to put together a proper river fishing guide. I think that would be of value to do a large river, maybe a small river, and a creek, and kind of combine them all into different scenarios to go over those tactics. However, with that said, right now, 334 Outdoors, I'm going to give you the short answer. And this is incredibly simple. It's literally a one-page booklet on how to fish rivers. You had mentioned in your question, how do you go about pre-baiting a river and then fishing it, or just rock up and start fishing it? The answer is the same in both. Go to your spot, put bait in, put a line in, you'll probably catch. I know that seems oversimplified, but literally that's pretty much how we do it. There are times where if we know we're going to be fishing a Sunday morning, before work I'll probably go put bait in on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Goldie will kind of pop down once or twice throughout the previous day to put bait in, depending on what we're doing, and try and maximize our opportunities for the day that we do have down there. In most cases, however, it's like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night when we decide where we're fishing on a Sunday and what we're fishing for, so we don't get that pre-bait option. And it literally means we get there stupid early. Like if the sun comes up at 5 a.m., we're there at like 4:30, put bait in, then take the time to just sit down, put all our gear together, get our lines in, have a coffee, kick back, and within 3 or 4 hours we usually have our first fish. Sometimes sooner. But yeah, short answer, just go do it. Long answer, we will work on that for you.
Answer that question, answer that question, answer that question, answer that question. Bucket list for Europe. Carp fishing holiday.
Oh, you dirty bugger. A carp fishing holiday in Europe? Now, this doesn't include UK, just Europe?
Why are you asking me? I didn't ask the question. I'm just reading off of what he said.
Because maybe you've read more, because you guys talk. I know it seems silly, but I would like to try Gigantica at some point for one of those like week-long holidays there. Not just because of the big fish, but because when I watch the videos of that place, it looks cool. It looks neat, kind of different from what I'm used to. So I'd like to try a carp fishing holiday there. I would love to go to Holland and the Netherlands, Belgium, fish those canals. I really would like the idea of trying that. I think a week just kind of bouncing around on those canals would be really cool, because it's more like what we're doing here, where we have to, we might have to up sticks and move different swims 30 kilometers away down the Niagara River to try and find fish. Same sort of scenario where it's like they're wild, right? They have free run to go anywhere, kilometers away in the same day. You might have to chase them like that. So I think that kind of typical, throw your money in and sit there for a week kind of session I'd like to try. but also like I like the idea of that kind of free range. I don't know, maybe Ray can set something up for us one day. We'll come over there and just fish a bunch of spots with him. In terms of the UK though, there's a bunch of tackle shops I want to visit. I kind of want to bounce around and try, some in the south, some in the north. I really want to fish the wharf. That's definitely a bucket list spot for me. So yeah, lots of places I'd like to try over there. Did I answer that question?
Done
Mm. How long have we been going?
it. 55 minutes.
Are they still just talking amongst themselves?
Cap is talking to himself right now.
Cap's talking to himself.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, no, sorry. Not talking, typing.
Okay.
You're the one that talks.
Yes.
And talks. And talks. That's what he wrote.
Yes. Yes, I do.
What's our film setup? We don't use film, sorry.
Our filming setup on the bank.
Oh, see, that's why I don't really do service for.
Cameras.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We did a video a few years ago about what equipment we filmed the videos with. We've upgraded a little bit since then. I was thinking that maybe it would be kind of time to do a behind the scenes video maybe this year of how we do things. It's random and it changes every session. Some sessions actually we go out and just film with our phones. Others we only take one camera, and then when we have more time or we have more of an idea in mind of what we want to do, sometimes I think the most we've ever had going at once was 5 cameras.
Yep.
It varies. Every session, every weather condition, everything changes. Sometimes it's just a spontaneous session where, oh hey, we happen to be putting a line in, and then all of a sudden something cool happens, so we just whip out the phone and start filming it that way. So there's no real one way we can describe our filming setup. But yeah, we'll consider later on this season actually doing a behind the scenes thing where we'll have a camera just going around filming us filming everything else, and you get a really good idea of how we put things together. We'll need Andrew for that one. So you're gonna have to let your son know we need him to work the camera at some point.
Yep.
Yep. Will still in there, or did we
No,
get rid of
he's
him?
gone.
Yeah. It's kind of cool that he gets to do that talk on that stage at the show. I kept telling him he needs to aggressively engage the bass anglers, the trout guys, the trollers. Call them out. Give them a reason to kind of sit down and listen to his talk. I think the best way to get through introducing carp fishing to people who have grown up thinking that they're not a worthy fish, they're not a worthy opponent. I think being able to break through that barrier, the best way to do it is to engage them directly. Open up a channel for debate. Get people to give you their opinions that they've kind of been brainwashed into thinking as they've gone along, and then blow those apart. I think that's the way I would do it. So we're curious to see how Will do it. If, like I said, if we get there, if we can be there, we'll film it. If we can't, maybe I can get him to set something up and film it himself. We'll have to see. He's not just there to do that either. He's there. He'll be at a booth representing one of the companies he's with.
Streamside. He already put that in the chat.
Did he? Streamside? Yeah. So, maybe Streamside can set something up where they can film his talk, because this is a big deal, being able to make this talk happen at a show like that here. So hopefully we can get something covered. What else is going on?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope.
You just answering questions, being all important. I don't know, is February's live chat done?
Sure.
We never really had a topic going in.
No.
Even when we do have topics, we always talk about something else because
Uh-huh.
Dom comes up with these great ideas about grenades in the bath. You know, eagles fighting drones. My kid walking around in really hard-soled slippers. All right, well, yeah, I got some tinkering to do. I got some gear to put together. I got these pop-ups to finish so we can get these back out to the winners. One more thing I did want to mention, however. We are coming up on 200 videos. Currently, this video, I got to double check the numbers to see how live streams are integrated into this. But if the live streams are included, this would be video 196 for the channel since I got it going in 2014. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do a contest for video 200 yet, because we just did a contest for the pop-ups. Not long before that, we did our 1,000 subscriber contest where we gave away a rod and 2 bite alarms. Great to hear from the winner of the bite alarms and actually see them in one of his videos. Unfortunately, we never heard back from the person who got the rod. Would have liked to know how he got along with that, but never heard anything from him after that. So I have it in my mind that I might want to do a contest for the 200th video, but I don't know what I want to do yet, and we're going to give it some thought. So maybe we'll revisit that around the time of the March live stream. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay. Maybe we can auction off a day fishing with Goldie. Hey, it might raise money for the channel. It might shut us down completely.
I was
We
going to
don't know.
say, last time I did anything remotely cool, we lost subscribers, so.
That wasn't remotely cool. That was disturbing.
No, that was cold.
Well, you were cold. I was fine. I'm sure there was a few other anglers on the bank that got hot that day seeing that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so final thing before we go. American fishing trip bucket list.
Who's asking that one? Is that Dom?
344. The 334 outdoor.
334 outdoors. Not as far south as you are, unfortunately. Like I said, I've never traveled to the West Coast. I have family out there, and seeing the carp fishing and sturgeon fishing opportunities just south of Oregon and Washington, that certainly is a bucket list idea that I'd like. That's kind of come about recently, seeing so many anglers over there, like Tristan, like Olivier, that are doing that over there. I've always wanted to fly fish for tiger trout in Colorado. I saw a TV program way back in the day on the North American Sportsman. They were fishing the White River in Colorado at this neat little lodge that they were fishing for cutthroat trout, rainbows, browns, and then there was this little remote lake that they went into and they fished for tiger trout. That one has always been kind of like my bucket list trip to go to do. Other than that, I'd really maybe like to just venture over the river into New York State and maybe try a few spots for carp or steelhead over there. Because over there I can use multiple rods. Literally, I can just drive across a bridge 10 minutes from here. Like some of our spots on the upper Niagara River, we can be sitting there fishing with one rod each, following our rules. I can put up a pair of binoculars, look straight across the river, and I can see anglers using 3. It's weird how rules work on the same body of water, but yeah, Colorado, West Coast, and maybe a little bit of carp fish dabbling maybe on the Seneca River in New York State. Maybe. I know everybody wants to go to Dale Hollow. Demir wants to set up a Dale Hollow trip. I really don't want to go to Dale Hollow, but you never know. We'll see.
Okay.
What about you, Goldie? Any worldwide fishing endeavors you'd like to get into?
I've already answered that question. The video will be out shortly for that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes. You're like,
Yeah, we got to review all that footage. We shot
Yes.
a new segment that we want to put together, help give you a better idea of who we are behind these videos. So we filmed myself, we filmed Goldie last week. We still have to film Will and Dave. Maybe a few of the other guys that kind of come in and help out every now and then. But yeah, we haven't even reviewed the footage yet, so we don't know how stupid we look.
I just put the video into the program. Yours is 26 minutes long, and mine's 14 minutes long.
Which is funny, because I asked you some good questions.
Uh-huh.
I kept getting interrupted by liners.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Apparently
So,
we need to go down to Alabama,
why do we need to go to Alabama?
because you can use as many rods as you want.
Where's the fun in that? If I'm going to go to Alabama, I'm just going to want gumbo. Or is that Louisiana? I'm mixing up my southern states.
Wow. Yeah.
Who knows? Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry to cut this short, but I'm actually in a lot of pain right now and I need to lay down. As always, I would love to keep chatting because I really enjoy when we all get going and stuff like this. A little bit harder for me when you guys all chat with Goldie and ignore me, but I'll get over it. But yeah, stay tuned. Keep following the channel. We've got some kind of a look at the team videos coming up. Hopefully we can finish this other fishing video for carp in the creek that we've just been working on. Hopefully that'll come out soon. And if this weather breaks, I'd love to get down and do some more trout fishing or even some really early season carp fishing. So, well, a lot more coming along. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this with all your friends so that we can get more subscribers going on the channel, get more people interacting with us. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Oh, let's see. Hang on. A bunch of comments just come up.
Nothing important.
Chicken song and we will give you attention. Deal. Oh, you dirty bugger. I'm gonna we'll see. Maybe I can find a tutorial on YouTube on how to make a song with a rubber chicken. Awesome having you here, High Country Fly Life. Thanks again. Dom, Kappa, Doug, well, partly Will, 334 Outdoors, you know, all of you guys. Dave Newman, thanks for tuning in. Again, always appreciate that you're here. We'll see you guys all again in the March live stream. We should have enough stuff coming out, you know, like I said, interviews, maybe some fishing sessions, and, you know, if we get the chance, we'll go see Will at the show next week. But yeah, we'll see you in March, and I hope everybody starts crushing fish early this year. Let's have a great couple weeks till we see you again. I'm out.